Hi, my name is Collins Kofi Opon of Empire Africa. We are here at the Inner Hero Community Police Dialogue right here in North Minneapolis. And I have with me Jay Hesby, the Senior Vice President of Wells Fargo. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you, sir.
Absolutely. So it's exciting to know that you have been part of the Inner Hero Community Police Dialogue over the period, and even you are here today to support. Can you give me the reason why you were motivated to be part of this dialogue?
Yeah, sure. I've known Ambrose for a long time. I tremendously admire his love for people and his desire to see people succeed, and appreciate his faithfulness that I've seen in his own personal life and the successes he's had, and again, his willingness to share and really be a leader in bringing folks together is what I admire most.
Is it that African American kids get delayed justice? Y'all always say, it pains me, I understand, but what are y'all doing about it?
What can y'all do to stop it? Because every time I walk down Broadway or look at people, I'm frightened to be the next victim that they have, or a next victim that's going to happen. So I just want to know, is there any way y'all can stop it?
Thank you for that. We have, when I talked earlier about transforming culture and policing, so I will tell you, one of the things that we did wrong for so long is when, for example, we look at prostitution. Public safety for many, many, many decades has looked at workers in that industry, that somehow they are more complicit than the people who've abused them, preyed on them, and paid for those services. We'd always looked at that way. We are now looking at it from a more of a victim-focused, centered lens, and what we can do to try to protect, advocate for, and get them the services that they need, and hold the predators much more accountable and more accountable for those actions. Sex trafficking has been something that we are now, as a society, and certainly in policing, we're starting to talk a lot more about, and that means that we need to, and certainly in the Minneapolis Police Department, we are so very fortunate that we have folks, advocates that are embedded with our investigators to reach out to help, and once again, it's not to criminalize or penalize those folks who've been preyed upon and victims, but to give them the tools, resources they need so that they can live safe, free lives from that. And so those are things that we continue to do. I would say, as you were courageous enough to speak out here today, we continue to want to hear voices, and if there are issues or things that you're seeing out in our community, we need to know about that. We take it very seriously. Again, we have teams embedded within the MPD of advocates that work on behalf of folks who could possibly be victims of sex trafficking. So we need to do more of that. But I know, as you've spoken out very courageously, I know there are a lot of other voices that do not. And we're going to need more advocacy. We're going to need more networking. We're going to need to work across. I think you were on a task force. You might have been. I know that we do have task force and folks who are set up to help try to reduce and prevent sex trafficking, but there's more that we can be doing. And so I'd be absolutely, if there are suggestions that you have as it relates locally here to our Minneapolis, I'd be more than happy to sit down with you and hear your thoughts and ideas, because one victim is way one too many.
Ford, which are in Falwell, one who is in Northside, who go out every day and they talk to neighbors. They check in with neighbors, they inform neighbors about what's going on, because our belief is that people shouldn't have to come to meetings to know what resources are available. The meetings should come to the people. So we bring the information to the doorstep. We're striving to build relationships with entities like Mother's Love and other outreach programs so that we understand fully what they're trying to offer. So when we are at the door, we can meet the need of our neighbor. So we know that, oh, Mother's Love can help you with that, let me get you connected. I'm saying all that to say that I think it's great that there are more faces of color showing up in positions of power, and that's good. But diversity is more than just skin color. It's our thought process, it's the way we do things, it's challenging ourselves to try something new, even though it might be hard, it might take a while to get going. And in talking with Jess, you know, she's talking about a navigator program, which would expose youth to the complexities of the sheriff's department, because most of us in the community only see sheriff and police as people in uniform and badges that are containing and controlling other human bodies. That's typically our experience. For me, the important thing is if we are reaching out to our youth and we are trying to get them interested in these spaces, we have got to change the culture and the energy in those spaces. And we cannot just indoctrinate these young people into police are good and sheriffs are good and all this kind of stuff. Like, we need to have honest conversations with them through the process about systemic oppression and what that looks like, and the school to prison pipeline and what that looks like. So when we're talking about diversity, I'm hoping and praying that it's not going to just be like, oh, look, we have so many brown-skinned or black-skinned people at the table or in the room, so we're good. Well, if the mentality is still a Western white mentality of white supremacy and control, it doesn't matter who's at the table. That's really the root of what we got to get to. So my question for the panel would be, how do you see your organizations really digging deep to change the relationships, the narratives, and the cultures that you all operate in?
The things that the Sheriff's Office is involved in is a disparities reduction program that Hennepin County is facilitating. And so it's just looking at, you know, disparities amongst all the different, you know, we call them domains, so whether it's health and human services, public safety, you know, legal, you know, just all the different domains. So it's something that's brand new and it's getting started, but we have participants from our agency that sit on this new initiative, and it really is looking at, you know, systemic issues. It's not just, again, whatever the issue is of the moment. And I think, you know, obviously we continue to work on, you know, Sheriff Hutch, as you noted, you know, he is our brand new sheriff. He was elected in 2019. So he's been in office since January. He is already doing really good things. He's putting different people in place. He is changing, you know, some of the, you know, the old mentalities, if you will, just by some of the things that he's bringing in and just the way he thinks. You know, he thinks a little bit differently. Even, you know, my appointment to deputy chief was a huge step for our agency. But again, you know, there's a lot of different things that we need to do to address it, and we are sitting in on, you know, all the different initiatives that are out there right now to start working on those issues.
There's a song that says things are getting better. With the lineup, we can see right there, you can see things are getting better. From my accent, you know I wasn't born here, I was born in Africa. In Africa, we don't have racism, we have tribalism. I've said it many times before, I'll say it again. Tribalism is what tribe are you from? You're from the Igbos, you're from the Yorubas, you're from the Hausas. They use that. Human beings always look for reason to show why they are better than the other person. I might come and say I'm taller than you. With that, I want to oppress you with that. You might come and say you are the police chief. With that, you want to oppress me with that. So that is normal. So why I say things are getting better, I think we should be proud for today. We should be happy that with this lineup here, you can see the black people in power now. The people that is doing, I'm not saying black people in power means what, no. I'm only saying that things are getting better. So we should embrace what is happening in the community now. As the owner of Empire Entertainment, I love doing this for our community. Reach out to our community, give out the voice, help the people to know about it. Like this now you watch on our YouTube channel, it's part of giving back to the community. So there will always be that problem. Problem will always come, but the fact is that recognize that things are getting better. You can see with what she is saying, wonderful, wonderful things like, if you want to group all white people, what about her? She is white. Look at all the wonderful things she's saying. how she's telling you this is a problem, this is a problem. She's not trying to sugarcoat anything. She's not trying to cover anything. She's not trying to say, okay, I'm not going to call out my fellow white person. She's telling you the truth. So truly, sincerely, things are getting better. Embrace this thing. Inner hero, every time he's always in my office, we always talk. The reason of this meeting is not just to come and talk. The reason of this meeting is that for us to identify, we need the police, and the police need us as a community. Because if you do not have the police around, your house will not be safe, your children will sleep better. From where I'm from, it is terrible because there's no good police community, good police organization there. Sometimes there's armed robbers, no police to call. If you call police, they tell you, oh, we don't have gas in our car. We don't even have car. So please, get this thing. When you feel other people's pain, you understand where you're standing on. Me coming to America, I see, when I got here, I see my life change. Before, I was a hopeless human being. Nothing to live for. But since I came to this country, my life changed. I'm not rich, but I'm just okay. So things are getting better. Not Minneapolis, things are getting better. With the lineup here, just know that things are getting better and embrace it. Yes, there will be, it's a long time, 400 years, 300 years, it's not to this thing. So this is not something that just started yesterday. This is something with time, with this kind of organization, with this kind of discussion, rubbing minds with the police. Last week, the two police chiefs, Brooklyn Center, came to our studio. We interviewed them. We want to reach out to the community, we want to spread the word to the community. So please, everybody understand, with this lineup, things are getting better. Let's embrace what is getting better.
Systemic issues that are taking place so that our young kids that are in our community are not overwhelmed. Also, we know that as a community, there's work to do. My specific passion outside of that is more specifically with young people because they need a voice. We celebrate a lot of things in the urban community, but one of the things that we lack to celebrate, if it's not sports or music, it's our young African American kids. And so I want to make sure that they have a voice here at this table and that their presence is very felt. And because you don't see a lot of them in the room, but know that they are here, they are represented.
We want officers to have situational awareness of things, but we know that there's inherent dangers with this profession, but the overwhelming majority of our contacts does not require the use of force. We have a wonderful new commander in our training unit, Commander Katie Blackwell. We are really focused that all of our training is focused in a procedural justice lens, which requires making sure that we're building trustworthy spaces, treating people with respect, giving them voice, and having these neutral engagements. We talk about the reasonableness in all of the things that we do in terms of if we have to have sorts of training that talks about force. We are, and again, all of that is centered in this procedural justice training. We do a lot of training in terms of de-escalation. Wonderful training, Sergeant Curry Yang, who's also a doctor. We do a lot of work in terms of crisis intervention training. A lot of discussion today was talked about not only trauma that our community is dealing with, but also making sure that our officers are well. We are also doing a lot of wellness training for our folks. We've asked the past year in the budget, we were very fortunate through the mayor's help and our council, we've got budget specifically generated for officer wellness. So we're talking about meditation training, yoga, mindfulness. One of the key factors that they've done research on, rest, sleep deprivation. Officers who do not get enough rest are more likely to have complaints of misconduct. They're more likely to be in situations where force is going to be used. Sleep is very important.
To introduce themselves.
I am Lieutenant Alex Hendrick with the Minneapolis Army Recruiting Company.
And I'm Staff Sergeant Sean Manley, also with the Minneapolis Recruiting Company.
All right, so you've been here at the Inner Hero Community Police Dialogue. What did you really pick from today, and how does it even affect your work in the military?
It was a great event. It was a chance for us to become part of the community and see the open dialogue within the community. We just like to be members of the community and come to these different events, make it known that we understand what the community is going through, and we're just happy to be a part of it.
One of the things that I've been focused on is what I like to call transformational change. I don't like using the word reform because that's just kind of like you're tinkering and just really put the same thing back together again. So I really focus on transformational change and addressing the culture. Minneapolis Police Department has been in existence for 152 years. So with that, it's developed its own culture. Some of that has been good, but some of that we know from the facts that bear out that over those 150 years we have caused harm to our communities, and certainly our black and brown communities have been subject to more of that than others. So recognizing that history and having important, candid, authentic conversations, but also looking at how, when we talk about transformational change, what that means for me. And so to your point, that goes beyond just the folks that wear this uniform. I look at it from everything from our engagement in trying to have conversations and meet young people in their spaces when we're trying to recruit. That means me taking a look at and having a say in our pre-employment psychologist and making sure that we know that our communities suffer trauma. We also know that the people that wear this uniform suffer layers of trauma. And so what can I do to make sure that our folks are healthy and well first before they go out and engage and interact with our community members? Inner heroes, being in this space right here, and for me, being chief, I don't know what I don't know, so I have to be in these spaces to hear from our people, to hear from our young people.
And also to you, what do you really pick from today's dialogue?
For me, the most important thing was to come here as someone who was a product of this community. A lot of times people see us in uniform and they just assume that we're machines and we're just soldiers. You know, both of us are from the area. Like Chief Ronald said, I knew him when I was 4 years old. So more than anything, I just came here to be a supportive member of my community.
Here with Mr. Dixon Aligbe, the CEO of Empire Entertainment, and Empire Entertainment are partners of the Inner Hero Community Dialogue. So we're here to talk to him about how, what he thinks about some of these projects.
You know, we do this all the time with Inner Hero and Empire Entertainment. We are a community-based entertainment company. We believe in our community, and we know Inner Hero is doing a lot to bring the police and the community together. We salute things like that. We support things like that. So we normally encourage for peace to reign in our land. You know, so with that, we are happy to be part of this. I'm here. I'm happy. I'm always hands-on to make sure things are done the right way, to make sure things are how it's supposed to be. You know, so I'm very happy. I mean, you have all the chiefs here. You know, you have the sheriff chief here, and I mean, you can't beat that. It's just the right way to reach out to the community, for the community and the police to dialogue and understand each other. Without the police, the street is not safe, and without the community, there's no police too. So they both need each other to make sure things are good. So that is why we do what we do.
A lot of that, from the police department standpoint, a lot of that is training. Making sure that officers are aware of what the legal rights are of community members who can legally carry. Some of that is also, obviously, goes to training for the person who's actually legal to carry, how you should interact with the officer when they're approaching you. So we want to do everything we can to prevent those types of situations from happening.